this week's episode of the Tech Informist podcast. Let's get started, shall we? My name's Kevin.
And I'm Brad.
And on this episode of the Tech Informist, we are going to be talking about day one of Google I/O.
HTC U11 unveiled.
Legend of Zelda on a mobile device near you.
Samsung reportedly having success with their new Galaxy S8 lineup.
There's a huge Xbox game sale that is live for Gold members.
Instagram rolls out more features.
And Snap has lost a whole lot of money. Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 177 of the Tech Informist. We are recording this on Wednesday, May the 17th, 2017, for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
Most importantly, one that we will be discussing later in our app entertainment and hardware picks. Because it's a fun one. We've been looking forward to this for many months. It's going to be fun. So first off, we want to talk about Google, which according to The Verge is becoming one of the more boring companies out of the big three of Google, Apple, Microsoft.
Their words, not mine. I work for Microsoft.
Exactly.
I got to get used to saying that.
It is weird. It is very odd that, yes, you do work at Microsoft, and you have wrapped up day 3, and I presume so far so good.
Yeah. Lots of training, and that's that.
Train some more.
Got to know my stuff.
Got to know your stuff, which thankfully you've already got kind of a heads up on many other people that would just be starting there.
Although seeing my name on that badge is pretty awesome. It's a long time coming, I feel.
Yeah, I can only imagine the feelings like, oh my God, my own badge with my name on it. It's like official now.
With my own set of clearance to the different parts of the building, which, well, I don't have any right now, but that's beside the point.
That's beside the point. But anyway, like we said, we're going to talk a little bit about Google I/O Day 1. Now, by the time that you hear this, most of the stuff might be old news, and Day 2 will have come out because there's just so many things to be able to get done in a reasonable amount of time.
But we're getting as much as we can right before the new week.
Exactly. So first up, one of the big things is Android O beta is live. So there have been a developer preview beta build that's been available for a little while now. But now the public beta is live as of today. I installed it on my Nexus 6P. Haven't really had a chance to mess with it too much. I installed it, wiped it, did the factory refresh, and now I'm kind of setting it up just to see what it's going to be like. And we'll kind of go from there. The developer preview is now on its second version. That also came out today. And anybody that has a Nexus or a Pixel device, obviously not all Nexus devices are appropriate for it. They don't have it available for everything. Mm-hmm. But if you have probably a 5X, 6P, and then the Pixel and the Pixel XL,
yeah,
you're good to go.
Anything older, I feel just not worth it.
I would say probably the oldest would be the Nexus 6, but I'm not 100% sure
might
if
be
that
even borderline,
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of pushing it. Definitely no Nexus 4, Nexus 5. Those are pretty much kind of end of life, as they like to say.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some other things, obviously, that have come out. Things like Android Go, which is supposed to be a new platform that focuses on optimizing the latest release of Android for lower spec, lower cost devices.
So in the Americas, I would say something like TrackPhone, or across seas, stuff that are, less than a gig in, RAM and stuff like that.
All right, so the more affordable devices.
Yes.
Daydream VR and AR. So there's not just a smartphone VR version, which we have seen last year. Now you actually have some standalone VR headsets that will be coming out, and I believe some companies that will be doing this.
HTC and Lenovo.
Yes.
Kind of maybe some kind of HTC Vive-like experience, which the Vive is fantastic. In fact, I just used it in the store again today.
It's pretty fun, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, so the LG I presume they're probably going to call it the V30 or something along those lines.
They would have to, to keep going with what they're doing.
Yeah.
And, rumored OLED phone of that kind is also going to be able to do the Daydream.
And Samsung's Galaxy S8 and the S8 Plus are actually going to be adding Daydream support later this summer with a software update. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I wonder if that's something that they could do for the G6 or if it's just...
I imagine it's that CPU that they used in the G6 is probably what's going to hold that back.
Okay. So the 821 being... in quotations, older.
Last gen.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay, yeah, I guess that is more of an 835 thing.
Because the 835 was designed with VR and AR stuff in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you're really going to miss out on a whole lot of stuff. Because you'll get to play with this stuff at the Microsoft store because... Is it
the real VR stuff?
Weird seeing a Galaxy S8 there on display for sale?
It used to be, but... kind of not anymore. I mean, everyone in the store has either an iPhone or some Android phone, so it's just kind of everybody knows. Like, if you're mobile, you're using other things, but maybe you've got Microsoft services on there. It's the sad reality, maybe to some, or just the norm for most.
Asus is going to be releasing a Tango-enabled Zenfone AR that launches this summer. So Tango is... Lenovo was the first manufacturer to release a Tango-featured phone, which it was a massive, phablet, bigger than the 1520 kind of size here. And so that's all about AR as well. In other Tango news, Google has announced its Visual Positioning Service, which their acronym is VPS, how convenient, which is supposed to help you find specific objects in the real world relying on key visual feature points. And an example that Android Central is giving is that you might be able to find a specific kind of screwdriver in a hardware store. Which, if you go shopping at, we'll say, Lowe's or Home Depot, sometimes finding things can be a bit of a challenge. Now, I know some of the people that work at Aisle 411, and that's one of the things that they actually focus on is not necessarily indoor mapping, but trying to make shopping experiences easier to find particular items and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's really kind of neat. They also announced that Android has officially passed 2 billion active devices. So
that's a lot of phones.
So that's going all the way to the baseline of the bottom for those phones that you get for like $10 maybe, all the way to the $800-900 fancy phones. That's kind of interesting too.
Well, being as Microsoft wants to have 1 billion Windows 10 users, Android is already sitting at 2 billion. Mm-hmm. So that's just interesting numbers to even think about. And just imagine if only half of those people ran Windows. That's still a huge market for apps.
Yes, very. Google has also revealed that Drive has 800 million users and Google Photos has 500 million, with some 1.2 billion photos being uploaded per day. That's a lot of pictures. But then again, a lot of people take a lot of pictures, so with you kind of being one of them, you used to take a whole bunch of pictures. I think you had to slow down the last few days, but
yeah, obviously lots of training and just from work to home to home to work.
Right.
I'm very, very focused on my new job because I don't want to screw it up.
I don't blame you. You got to do what you got to do and to keep things going. Speaking of keeping things going, Google Lens has been announced. Many people might remember Google Goggles, which you kind of point your phone at something and kind of give you a little bit of information about said object based on what it could find on the web. But Google Lens kind of takes it a little bit to the next level, we'll say. I kind of hate that term, take it to the next level.
It kind of reminds me of Nokia's Lens, where you could kind of hold it and get a AR view of like a street level and that business is here and here's their information and stuff. That it's something that I miss, and I think it's kind of neat to have, especially if you're in a really dense big city.
Yeah, because I remember Google goggles. I tried that whenever we went to Washington, D.C. back in, I believe it was like 2012.
Okay.
And I was like, I ain't messing with this. Because I just wanted to kind of get an idea of, because I seen something, I'm like, well, what is this? And I kind of held it up, and it wasn't really giving me any information, so I didn't really mess with it any further. I'm like, I'm just going to take pictures.
That's fair.
With whatever device I had at the time. I don't remember.
Maybe this is their second take, and maybe it'll stick this time.
Yeah, because they say that it's going to be shipping first in Google Assistant and Photos, obviously Google Assistant, and they're working on their AI. It's improved a lot in the last few years. Obviously, that was 5 years ago when I'm playing around with this Google goggle thing.
So, just real quick, I thought of a scenario that would be really good for something like Google Assistant, or maybe all of the assistants, and that would be kind of answering the phone for you at times, maybe. And once they maybe understand, oh, this is a spam call, and put in an action of what you want to do with spam calls, like just hang up the phone, I can't ignore. It's something to a level of automation to where if I can't get to my phone, maybe my assistant can help me help you.
Will automatically say if it recognizes that it's a phone from, for example, your wife or a friend or your parents or something, it will automatically, after it rings 3 or 4 times, instead of going to voicemail, because, again, nobody leaves voicemail messages in 2017, really. It would send an auto text reply if it recognizes this is coming from a mobile number from somebody that you do communicate on a regular basis, as opposed to some random number that most likely could be some kind of spammy customer service check-in call.
Lots of those lately.
Yeah, because supposedly even if your cell phone's on the no-call list, it sure doesn't make a big difference.
Nope.
Sure do get an awful lot of those kind of calls.
I'm starting to think that puts me on the list.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, ooh, this person really cares about this. Let's make sure we call him. Anyway, we'll see. And as speaking about Google Assistant, it's now available on phones, including iPhones.
Isn't that something?
So I installed the Google Assistant on my iPhone this afternoon as well.
So iTunes comes to the Windows Store and Google Assistant goes to iPhone. What is going on?
What kind of world are we living in? This is like on Seinfeld, bizarro world.
Cats and dogs living together.
In harmony.
In harmony.
And Google also revealed that 100 million devices, obviously it's more than that, now have access to Google Assistant. And Assistant is about to get a whole lot smarter thanks to the capabilities of that Google Lens, which we mentioned a little while ago. Assistant will be able to have a conversation with you about what's on your screen. So just like the Joaquin Phoenix movie Her, where he falls in love with his phone or with his phone's AI, something like that.
Voiced by Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, I believe so, yes. So now you'd be able to have a conversation. So if you're lonely or something, you just start talking to your phone and, hey, what's going on? How you been? How's your day?
We laugh about that, but there might be instances where that could literally save somebody's life.
Exactly. And also for people that are kind of shy, introverts, it kind of may help make them a little bit more relaxed and more comfortable speaking to people.
Yeah.
Because they get kind of more used to conversations. Lord knows there's so many teenagers that can really stand to learn how to conversate a little bit more.
Yeah.
Sometimes pulling teeth out of high school seniors can be a bit of a challenge.
It's like putting socks on a cat.
It's all about cats today. Cats and dogs. How about that? So, like I said, it is now available on iPhone, which has been rumored in recent weeks.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of surprised that Apple approved it.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Well, Cortana's on there.
True.
So
it's like a bit that I guess Apple's just opening up a little bit. It's interesting.
It's a whole brave new world.
It is. 2017. Who knows what's going to happen?
I literally, there's nothing that couldn't.
Yeah, definitely seems like it. The Google Assistant SDK is going to allow manufacturers to build Google Assistant into pretty much whatever device they want. Cars, TVs, drink mixers, to toys, to home appliances, opening up the platform to significant new
First world
markets.
problems here.
Big time first world problems.
Oh, my
Wow.
drink mixer stopped talking to me.
Right. Hey, why aren't you mixing my protein shake, yo?
You've had enough for tonight.
Sorry about that, Kevin. You know your stomach. So, whatever. New languages are coming too as well. French, German, Brazilian, Portuguese, and Japanese hit the summer, with Italian, Spanish, and Korean by the end of the year. Let's see. There's the Google Home, which you
I know.
have. You've got a Google Home,
Some
so this
new
might be a
stuff
little
coming.
interest to you. It's going to be launching in Canada, Australia, France, Germany, and Japan this summer. And proactive assistance will be coming to Google Home, which, for example, Google Home might light up, which prompts you to ask Google, "What's up?" to notify you you'll need to leave earlier to reach your next appointment. Like, for example, to beat the Highway
There is no
4064
beating that traffic.
traffic.
Unless there's a flying car, there is no beating that traffic.
You know, you are supposed to be there at 8. You might want to leave at 6:15.
Yeah. I only live 4 miles away.
That's irrelevant in this instance. Hands-free calling is actually going to be coming to Google Home. So that's very similar to what we spoke about
Alexa.
last week with Alexa and its version of calling.
I would imagine that this is not reactionary. This is just a path that they were both going down.
Right. And yeah, it's hard to say, who's copying who. Build was last week when it was
takes
announced.
forever to code those
I/O,
things.
Yeah, I/O was announced this week. It just happens sometimes. And this is going to have free calls to anywhere in the United States and Canada. And thanks to multi-user support, asking Home to call Mom will call the right person depending on who's asking. So for example, you call your mom or dad, it's going to call your mom or dad.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife wants to call her mom or dad, it's going to call her mom or dad. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, I kind of want to try it out.
I know. It sounds pretty fun. I might have to pick up one of these Google Homes pretty soon. We'll have to see. And on the entertainment front, new partners including HBO Now were announced, and users on Spotify's free service will actually be able to use Google Smart Speaker in addition to the premium subscribers. And that's kind of nice. Nice little perk for those people that don't want to pay $10 a month for Spotify Premium, which I believe is actually, I recently received an email about I get 3 months for like 99 cents or something like that.
All right.
Thought about it.
I mean, for the summer.
Yeah,
At
for
least.
summer. Which kind of gets me off on this little tangent. Okay, got to go into the weeds a little bit for a moment. I got an email from SiriusXM. It may not be a big secret to people that I love listening to Beatles music. They're dangling the Beatles only channel in front of my eyes right now. And of course, come back for like $5 a month or something really. I'm like,
And you have a car that's capable of doing that.
I do, yes, I do.
Where I had to do this rigmarole of plugging this thing in, have this device plugged in, yada, yada, yada.
Right, because our Grand Prix 2004, those were analog systems. Now it's all fancy digital stuff.
Yeah.
Even though it used to have XM satellite radio, now it's deactivated essentially, which is kind of a bummer. But on my cruise, I'm good to go because it's 9 years newer.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. It's okay. I can try it. So I'm debating kicking that back up for a few months, or at least trying it out for the promotional period, just to see if it would be worthwhile.
I just wish they would make it easier to cancel the service the same way that Netflix and all the other things do.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, if you did reactivate it and then you forgot to cancel it and it shoots up in price or whatever, then you have to call customer service during normal business hours, and that's a pain in the butt.
Yes. I do like services like if you go to cancel, we recently dropped Showtime through Hulu recently, just because
Not
my wife
using it
only
much.
needed it because
Yeah.
of Shameless.
Okay.
And Shameless probably won't come back on until either later this year
Right.
or early next year. I think they start filming in May.
Okay.
So you drop it, even if it's not going to expire for another 2 weeks. If I cancel it today, I still get it until the end of the current pay period.
Right.
Which is good. Most of the times are done.
Yeah.
And you might get a prorated refund or you might not, just depending on kind of what mood or company they are.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Shut it off whenever the day ends, and because you think about it well before it's supposed to, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh, I was supposed to call and cancel that 2 days ago. We've all had that happen.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not everyone.
They
just
count
some people
on
are
it too.
responsible. Oh, they do. They definitely count on that stuff. Bluetooth support is also coming into the Google Home, effectively turning it into a Bluetooth speaker for iOS and other devices. Nice. Chromecast is going to be updated to show visual responses on your TV when you ask for help from Google Home. So, for example, if you say, show me my calendar, it might bring up the result on your TV since you've also got a Chromecast.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I could dig that.
Yeah. So through Google Assistant, all the actions supported on other platforms will eventually be available on your TV as well.
Huh.
Isn't that neat? And you don't even have to be on that specific HDMI port for it to come through. At least it shouldn't, because I'm not going to keep it on that HDMI channel just...
Right. Yeah, well, I use my Xbox more than any other device in my house. So.
Right. Let's see, some basic stuff. It's not really basic stuff, but just to kind of quickly get through this. Google Photos getting some new features to make sharing easier. YouTube is getting some interesting stuff like 360-degree video coming to YouTube's TV app, including live 360 video. And using their TV remote, you can pan around the video. That's kind of neat. And Super Chat, which is YouTube's paid promoted message system, is getting more creative. A new Super Chat API will let Super Chats trigger actions in the real world, like turning the lights on in a creator studio. Interesting. And, of course, there's more to come. So much stuff. Obviously, there's probably not going to be a whole lot of hardware. They save hardware for a little bit later. It'll be another big event from Google to show off any kind of like Chromecast refresh, Google Home refresh, whatever. But it's interesting to see what else they might come out with later this week with the rest of Google I/O. And then, of course, you got Apple's WWDC coming up as well. It's like boom, boom, boom.
And then E3 shortly after.
It's just a busy, busy time of year.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. It's exciting stuff. A lot of good, interesting things to learn. Speaking of new things to learn about, HTC, the U11 is official. With a Snapdragon 835 and Ultra Pixel 3 camera, Edge Sense Squeeze input. What in the hell is this?
It's a good question. It is worth mentioning that they do have 2 different SKUs of the 4 gigabytes of RAM or 6 with the 128 gigabyte model.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot of RAM.
Uh-huh. It's a weird little device. It looks kind of cool, especially that volcano red or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a reddish orange. It kind of, as you turn the phone, it kind of changes colors, like some automotive paint, which you would be familiar with. You look at it different angles and different lighting situations, it completely changes the look of the car.
Mm-hmm.
1 minute it's purple, next minute it's black, next minute it's light blue. You never know. So it depends on how you look at it. I think it comes in like 5 different colors.
There's a gloss. They're all glossy, by the way.
Very shiny.
Let's see, the white, the black, the reddish orange we were talking about, the blue, and there's like a dark blue and a kind of a light kind of aqua blue, which almost even turns silver at times. So,
Brilliant black, amazing silver, and sapphire blue. Those are 3 of them that I know you can get on Amazon, which is supposed to be released June the 9th for like $649. Factory unlocked right there. Very interesting stuff. Comes back with that boom sound, so that's kind of nice.
See, that's just... They took that away, and that is like a defining feature of HTC.
For HTC, yeah, definitely.
I just can't imagine a device without it.
So, watching some videos of this kind of device in action, you see people squeezing it from the sides, and these looks like little sound waves coming in from the sides to...
Showing that you're squeezing it.
Yeah, to let you know, you're squeezing them. I don't know.
I mean, it kind of reminds me in some ways of the 3D touch that iOS has implemented, where you've got your your kind of push on the screen, and then you've kind of got your press and hold.
Yeah. So you got like widgets, or then you press and hold it a different way, and it just allows you to move or delete apps.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to get my hands on that just to see how that's going to work.
Do we know what carriers this is coming to? Maybe
I would imagine pretty much.
Friends at Verizon could help us out.
Yeah, very possible. I know it's going to be available unlocked in the United States and sold exclusively via launch carrier partner Sprint. So apparently not.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So maybe if you know somebody that
I might
works
know a
at
person.
Sprint, you might get a chance to try one. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, right.
We'll see. All right. Got to throw that out there when I hear that. So, like you said, 4 gig of RAM with 64 gig of storage in the U.S. and the U.K. Some other regions will also carry the 6 gig with 128 gig of storage model.
See, this drives me nuts.
I know.
When there's a better feature out there and it's not in the U.S. Now, I know the rest of the world gets this all the time with other things, but when it doesn't happen here, I'm like, what is going on?
Man, somebody's definitely spouting off that first world problem stuff tonight.
Yeah.
And is becoming increasingly standard for flagship phones. The U11 is water and dust resistant, rated at an IP67. Company has upgraded its 12-megapixel shooter, now dubbed the, quote, Ultra Pixel 3 camera.
I'm still not crazy about their cameras. We'll see with this one, but...
Yeah, faster autofocus and an f-stop of 1.7.
Yeah, they're claiming that even without laser focus, added with it, that it can focus at like 0.3 seconds. So supposedly really fast.
And enhanced HDR capabilities thanks to the always-on HDR boost feature. We'll see. Like I said, it goes on sale later in May, starting in select markets. Coming soon. And the unlocked version, like I mentioned, $649 in the United States. It's not too bad. Not a bad price.
No. For a flagship running an 835, not bad at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. I know it's one thing that Sam Ventimiglia, I got a chance to see him briefly over the weekend, and he said he wanted to get a look at that. He's a big HTC guy.
Yes,
so
he is.
He loves his HTC devices. So we'll see. Be curious to see what he thinks of the U11 and if he's going to decide to get one. I have a feeling he probably will. That's just Sam. So I believe you, within the last so many weeks, didn't you start playing a Zelda game?
Ocarina of Time.
Ooh.
It's officially my first Zelda game, and it's going pretty well. I have kind of slacked off the past couple days for obvious reasons.
What?
Yeah.
What, you been busy?
A little. But I'm thinking about maybe bringing it to work with me for my lunch, because my lunch is awfully long. It's like an hour.
Oh. This is a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
The title of this episode is going to be First World Problems.
Yes,
from
it
Brad.
is.
Gee, Merry Christmas. Wowzers.
But, yeah, it's going pretty well. It's clear why Zelda has always done well, which would explain our next story, where reportedly we're supposed to be getting a mobile app of some kind.
Right. Like, obviously, it's not going to be like in the play style of Super Mario Run.
No, see, I imagine it being more of a puzzle, kind of puzzle platformer of some kind.
Which would make so much sense, considering Zelda is all about puzzles. And
it is.
Solving this little secrets.
Mm-hmm. So, guess we'll kind of have to wait and see once again. I mean, E3 is coming up, that it might be something that they could just be like, and it's available now, but maybe not.
It'll be something that gets announced, and then it will...
Right, because that's kind of how Nintendo's MO runs. Now, if this were, I don't know, Bethesda, it would be available now.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, if you check your phone, it's available right now, this very second. What? So anyway, the Wall Street Journal has reported that The Legend of Zelda will get a mobile release later this year. And it's supposed to be after Nintendo's going to be pushing out a mobile iteration of Animal Crossing. Which I think Nintendo
was due last year, which never happened.
It got pushed. Yeah.
But, I think Animal Crossing is actually a good candidate for a mobile experience and to kind of get people's feet wet for the actual full-fledged game.
Yeah. Kind of looking forward to this.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fun. If it's anywhere near as fun as like Breath of the Wild, I mean, it's not going to be like Breath of the Wild.
In a different sense, though.
Right.
If it's anywhere near as polished as Mario Run was, I think we're in for a treat.
Oh, yeah. I think it would be really good. Now, Nintendo has yet to officially confirm this because, they don't want to lose any thunder of
We
of a
don't
possible
report on
E3.
rumors, Kevin.
Right. Of a possible E3 announcement. But either way, if it comes out $9.99 or whatever, I'm in. I'd get it day one right away because I think it'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be very fun. Galaxy S8 time. Okay, so
Let me guess. They've sold a lot.
Surprise. Yeah, you wouldn't think after the Note 7 debacle that they would sell as well as they had. Apparently, they've sold over 5 million Galaxy S8 devices. Now, that's counting the S8 and the S8 Plus.
Right.
In less than a month. It's only been available for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You had the one from our friends at Verizon for a couple weeks.
Yep.
I've had that same one for a couple weeks now, and I'm actually going to give it back to you this evening. Me, personally, I don't know.
See,
I
there's
was not
something.
wowed.
Yeah, there's something about it. I can't place my finger on it. It's a great device.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, it's not for me.
Something just doesn't
Something's off.
do it for me. I don't know, and it's weird. I feel weird saying that.
Well, how do you like the fingerprint sensor?
I don't.
Yeah, that
plain and
drove me
simple.
nuts.
I don't.
Personally.
Very inconsistent.
It was a shame that Bigsby wasn't ready to even try.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I tried out a different app to replace it with Cortana because, well, why not?
Right, and you detailed on how you could do that based on the prior episode, how to do that. A friend of ours, she had to replace, I think she had an S7 Edge, or maybe it was the
the
S6
bigger one.
Edge, something like that.
Yeah.
And she had to get that phone replaced, and she almost was going to get the S7 or something like that, but for $2 more, she just went with the S8. I'm like, so what do you
And
think? She's like,
why wouldn't you?
It's a phone. She's like, every time I go to do something, I keep hitting this button here, and this Bigsby thing shows up. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Uh-huh.
And that's so funny. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you've got a Galaxy S8, what am I missing? I'm curious.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love my G6. I could stay with this device for a while and be happy. Absolutely happy.
I think one of the things back when Motorola first came out with the Moto X, it had that kind of always-on kind of display using very little battery power. Well, if you leave that kind of same functionality on, from what I found playing with the S8, kind of ran through battery a little bit faster than I wanted to.
So I'm a very big stickler on anything that sucks battery. So I never use that function.
Yeah, I just turn it on like, it's got to turn off. I'm not messing with this.
Now I would imagine it'd be a little better with the bigger device, but still,
Yeah.
and
maybe that's part of the other issue, too. It was the S8, not the S8 Plus. Maybe I would have liked the S8 Plus better, to where I would have been like, yeah, this is the one you want.
That could be. Although I've already seen a cracked S8 in a case, because the way the screen's curved, it just it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's a weird thing.
You got lucky when you said it kind of took a short little tumble, but other people have not been so lucky.
No.
And
they had cases on.
Right. There was a video on Android Central, I believe it was, or maybe it was on Windows Central. Alex Doby and one of the other writers for the crew. Not Alex, but the other writer, had dropped his, and he'd only had it for like 5 days. Just
oh my god!
Because it went from like one corner
That's
to
what
the
I was
complete opposite top corner.
expecting to pick up, and lo and behold, it fell just right not to do that.
Yep.
On concrete.
Somebody's heart skipped a beat.
Huh.
Yeah, definitely. As we all know, we like deals.
We like games.
And we like games with gold. And this week, something that we mentioned not too long ago about an upcoming deal on Xbox One and Xbox 360 games with gold titles if you have Games with Gold, you have access to some pretty good priced games right now. Some really nice discounts ranging from 10% off all the way up to, there's one for 85% off, a few for 75% off. And that's just in the Xbox One deals.
So there's a lot of backwards 360 titles, including Call of Duty Black Ops 2 for those of you who've been begging for that game. Also, Red Dead Redemption, the original, is in that, and being as the new one is coming out later this year, which I presume
Day one purchase.
We will see at E3. It'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can get a bunch of Destiny, the Taken King, the Taken King Digital Collector's Edition, the Legacy Edition.
Alan Wake, if you have never played, it's a great Xbox exclusive. Or was. It, I believe, will be leaving both stores due to licensing from some of music that's in there. And because the music is in there, they only have the license to, I guess, sometime this year. So if you want to play that, you either got to go buy the disc or get it digitally quickly. And that's on both the Xbox Store and, I believe, Steam and anywhere else it's available. So,
and it looks like most of these 360 titles are at least 50% off.
At least, yeah.
50, there's 67, there's 75% off. There was one that was even 90% off, and that's MX versus ATV Reflex. So that's a kind of a quad racing game.
Castlevania Symphony of the Night is 75% off. Catherine's 75% off. I mean, there are some great deals, and these aren't games that need a ton of power to run.
No.
So, I mean, honestly, I would considering getting like Centipede and the Millipede one, and some of the old arcade stuff. That would be cool to have. I don't know.
These are not scrub games. These are some pretty fantastic titles.
Yeah,
it's like that Castlevania Symphony of the Night, $2.49, $2.49. That's crazy.
Doom 2 for backwards compatibility. I mean, there's some good stuff in here.
And we mentioned the Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Oh, Fable 2.
$19.99. I mean, obviously $19.99 is, most people have it, but now it's backwards compatible, like you said. And I enjoyed Black Ops 2. It was one of my favorite shooting games. I played it a lot, actually.
I was going to say it's a lot on a lot of people's list. I guess it's worth mentioning Gears of War is on here, like all of them, but if you bought 4 or the one from last year, you probably already have all of them by now. So
Dead Space 1, 2, and 3. That's there. Like I think you said Doom 1, Doom 2, Far Cry 3, and Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Geometry Wars.
Xbox 64 games like Perfect Dark and Banjo-Kazooie are on here. So
Grand Theft Auto 4, that's on there, as well as Grand Theft Auto The Ballad of Gay Tony. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on here. Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2, Lego Batman, Indiana Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean, Lode Runner, Lost Odyssey, Luxor
Shadow
2.
Complex. The list really does go on and on.
Yeah,
we could sit here all day and list them all, but I'm still scrolling.
Yeah, it goes pretty far. Force Unleashed was available for free earlier this year with Games with Gold, but now it's on sale for like $5.
Well, if you missed out on it and you still wanted to grab it, it's not that
still
bad.
A good price. It's a great price.
But this is all via Major Nelson's website, which, if you know anything about Xbox, he's the guy to go to know the news. And being as he's a coworker now, so to speak.
Listen to this guy here.
Anyway.
Flaunting my stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The link will be in the show notes.
So. Correct. And from there, it links to every game that is listed.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. I think this sale runs until May the 22nd. So from the day that we record this, there's still 4 to 5 days left, depending on what time of day that the deal ends. There's that. So if you're looking to get some games, because you're getting ready to get out of school and you have some free time on your hands, man, there ain't much better time than now. Instagram and Facebook are really giving Snap everything they can handle right
Yeah,
now.
I kind of love this.
Yes, from our time back on Windows Phone and the whole Snapchat. I'm Evan Spiegel. I'm never putting my Snapchat on Windows Mobile or Windows Phone.
Okay.
Right.
Whatever.
That's okay. And from my understanding, he didn't even really want to put it on Android. It's just there because of the user base.
Huh.
So that's another.
It was probably
thing.
an investor thing.
It probably could. Well, it probably was, yeah, because had to get investors before they did their IPO, which we'll talk about a little bit in the next story. But Instagram has now added Snapchat-style AR face filters. So if you've ever wanted to look like, they kind of already had some of this stuff. It's already seemed like.
And also, I mean, I think we've even reported that they were thinking about doing these things, and this stuff may even come to Facebook eventually. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have no problems with this. I love Instagram. I'm on it constantly, every day, it seems like. Even if I'm not posting anything, I just like looking through everybody's pictures. I'm a big picture person.
Yeah, I am too, a visual kind of guy.
But this is nothing but good news for people who love Instagram. In fact, people who use Snapchat a lot are kind of not jumping ship, but trying out the waters, so to speak.
Yes. Yeah. So Instagram includes 8 face filter options, and some actually work with multiple people. Face filters also will work with Instagram's built-in boomerang feature, which creates those short loops. You know, when you see people jump up, jump down, jump up, jump down, jump up, jump down. You always kind of see that. It's kind of interesting stuff.
I mean, and we talked a couple weeks back at Facebook's F8 thing, and this is coming out of that. I mean, it might actually be cool again, like we had mentioned.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of at the point that I don't really have much of a problem with Facebook anymore.
Kind of no, really.
They seem to be doing a lot of good things, and if they could really get some of this new stuff cleaned up,
yeah,
that'd be great. Mm-hmm. That'd be really great. They've rapidly added new features, including a new carousel album view. So, again, you can post multiple photos and videos, the ability to post media from the mobile website, including on iPads, not to mention the continuous matching of Snapchat features in Instagram stories. For their part, though, Snapchat recently introduced new AR feature, including world lenses that apply effects to shots captured from the rear camera. Speaking of Snapchat, Snap has lost more than $2 billion in 3 months, and they're kind of losing a lot of regular users, which I know it's kind of funny. It makes people like me and Brad kind of smile a little bit.
Just chuckle, that's all. Just a little chuckle.
But according to Recode.net, they determined that it's because you lose $2 billion. You're not really losing $2 billion. It's because they paid out $2 billion in stock to your employees. Now, that's not to say that Snap stock still performed well, because it didn't. Their loss is still $188 million.
Yeah, it seems like anytime Facebook brings out something to counteract anything that they've done, it kind of hurts them a little bit, because that's all that they do is just that app, as far as I know, right?
Between that and Spectacles.
Yeah.
That's really their two things right now.
Beyond that, I don't know where they go. And if you're not growing, you're dying, as they say in the tech industry. So,
I mean, Snapchat is still installed on my iPhone.
It's still on my G6.
I haven't opened it in probably 2 or 3 weeks.
Nah, me either.
I mean, I was just kind of like going through some apps and...
See, part of the problem for me is that after you watch something, it sort of floats away or whatever, and you have to... It's kind of convoluted how you have to go back to look at it, whereas on Instagram, I just start scrolling down. Oh, there's that thing again that I really liked.
Right. I don't know. It's not that I want to see companies fail, because obviously had Snapchat not been as popular as it was, Instagram wouldn't have got as fully featured as it's getting these days.
Exactly.
It has changed a lot over the last few years. And I remember when I first opened an Instagram account, I was like, wow, this is kind of neat. It's kind of plain, basic, but it's still neat. And now, look at it. My only complaint with Instagram now is the fact that it just doesn't seem to refresh the feed very well. Sometimes it will just say, "Ooh, can't refresh feed," or...
So I had that yesterday, but I haven't had the issue since. So maybe it was just a hiccup.
And it could just be because of all these
Updates.
things that they're doing and trying out, stuff like that. I don't know.
It seems like Facebook's really good at updating their stuff.
Yeah,
Occasionally there's a bug, but they pretty much iron it out pretty quick.
Yeah. I just wish it would give me back my ordered timeline so I don't have to oh, hey, 3 days ago. Yeah, I saw that picture 3 days ago, too.
On Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
Huh.
I get that all the time.
I never noticed that.
Maybe I need to
check your settings.
dig into my settings and see.
That could be.
Obviously, they've changed a lot of stuff, so maybe I need to get back to check that out. First world problems. I'm allowed to moan and groan. I won't. It's time for this week's app entertainment and hardware picks. No hardware, just some trailers and
no hardware
some
just yet.
Possible movies and another big thing coming up for us. And this week, the trailer for Seth MacFarlane's upcoming series on Fox called The Orville became available, which the Orville looks like Star Trek.
Yeah, very much.
Which there's a new Star Trek Discovery, I believe, coming out sometime. I'm not positive when that comes out. But you look at this and you're like, okay, looks cool. And then watch the video and chuckle a little bit. I mean, things obviously could be a little bit more funnier. You kind of expect a little bit more funnier out of Seth MacFarlane. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. And granted, that was just a couple-minute trailer. It's not like it was a full episode.
Yeah, you don't get the full context behind everything. So who knows? Maybe it might be a little funnier viewing the whole episode. I'm kind of interested, though. I mean, I love sci-fi.
In a way, I'm kind of surprised it didn't go to, like, Netflix.
Yeah.
So it could have had a little bit more creativity to be a little bit more edgy. But maybe this is going to still be edgy on Fox. I don't know.
He has a really good relationship with Fox.
Obviously, for Family Guy to be successful there, and then Family Guy go away, and then Family Guy to come back. And
well, they noticed the huge dip in viewings, so...
It happens, yeah. So it's something I'm going to try out when it does release. I guess it'll probably come out this fall, is my presumption.
Yeah, probably.
I imagine.
Summer doesn't... Well, although this year Game of Thrones will be this summer, which is very odd, but... God, I can't wait.
One day I'll watch it.
Oh, my...
I know. Late to the party. And just real quick, too, talking about shows that are canceled, picked up, renewed, blah, blah, blah. Timeless, which is a show I've mentioned on previous episodes as well, which is, I believe it was on ABC. It was announced that it was canceled, and then like 2 or 3 days later, well, on Saturday, they announced, we're actually going to renew it. And it's like, what? Wait a second, you just canceled it like
Maybe
3
they
days
had
ago.
An outcry.
There was an outcry, and then there was also a little bit more restructuring of the deal because Sony was starting to shop it to like Netflix and other channels. Because
hey, you got to do what you got to do.
I think it's a good show. That's just again.
Netflix is not shy about picking up things that have been canceled.
No,
in fact, there's supposed to be a new Arrested Development again.
Yep, season 5 of Arrested Development will be coming back. So
who would have thought?
I have not watched a whole lot of Arrested Development, but I've watched the majority of the first season or first 2 seasons. It's funny as heck.
My wife
like it.
will go through and watch it at least once a year, the whole thing all the way through. At least.
It's funny. I mean, I
It's
like
still
Jason.
funny.
I like Jason Bateman's style of humor.
I do too.
It's just pretty well done. And another big surprise that I don't have in the show notes this time, but Roseanne is coming back to ABC for 8 episodes in 2018. The original cast.
Wow.
It ran from 1988 to 1997.
So the year I was born.
And I mean, I remember there were some episodes.
I remember my dad watching that. So just, growing up as a kid, so.
I didn't watch the last few seasons. I know I watched the first 4 to 5 seasons of it. And there's one episode that has to deal with Cyrano de Bergerac or whatever. It's like a Shakespeare play or something with the nose and stuff like that.
Okay.
And John Goodman, who plays Dan Connor, he was coughing and had this coughing fit in the kitchen. And I just remember like having tears of laughter. I was laughing so hard at him because you're watching it looks like he's really struggling to get through his lines, but he's like, I'll be just fine. And it's just hilarious. I know makes it sound bad by me saying it, but it's funny. It was really good. So yeah, the original cast is coming back, and even the two Beckys. So you have the original Becky, then you had the replacement Becky before the original Becky came back. So the replacement Becky, that actress is going to play some other character. I don't know how they're doing that. Jonathan Galecki, I believe is his name, who's on Big Bang Theory.
Okay.
He played Darlene's boyfriend on the show. I don't think he'll come back. I don't see how that would work with Big Bang Theory being on NBC, I believe. I don't think that's going to work out.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting the original cast back for 8 episodes makes me wonder, will George Clooney make a return? Because that's like where he got his big break. He played like a factory manager or whatever. But you would know. What am I saying? But it's funny. I'm glad to see Roseanne coming back. It'll be interesting.
Also, out this week, as of tomorrow night, it's finally time for
my God.
Alien Covenant.
Ooh.
Real bloody, gory sci-fi craziness.
Yeah, based
All
on the
about
trailer.
it. Yeah.
Ooh.
I will definitely be seeing it either by myself this weekend or with Justin, friend of the show, one way or another. So be aware that is out this weekend.
And I'm sure on our next episode, you're going to hear Brad's thoughts on Alien Covenant.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice.
And as maybe promised, can't remember, I have plenty of YouTube people that we do watch. And this is actually somebody that we've followed for some time now, being as we're big old Disney nerds. And by that, I mean the Tim Tracker, or just Tim Tracker. And they go to Disney and Universal and Legoland and SeaWorld and, well, pretty much everywhere around Orlando, Florida, and even out a little past that. They're big foodies. They absolutely love all kinds of places to eat. And they give you their honest opinion, and they are probably some of the nicest people that I know on the internet, it feels like. Well, not no, but you know what I mean.
Right. We kind of feel like we know some people on the internet.
It does feel that way. They sort of let you in their life and, kind of get to see I think they post a video every day. So Tim will usually go do a video. Sometimes his wife will come along, Jen, and sometimes not. It just depends on her work schedule. I'm not exactly sure what she does. But regardless, they have a video posted every day, and they are a lot of fun to watch.
I presume they live in the Orlando, Florida area?
Yes, they do.
Okay. That makes that kind of stuff a whole lot easier.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That'd be nice to be able to go there almost any time you want.
They are annual pass holders for Universal and I believe Disney. So
wow. Mm-hmm. I have to look. I wonder how much that would be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause I know day passes are well over $100. Well over. And now for the big thing that we would like to talk about.
What's that?
There's a new episode of Everything VR and AR that came out this week.
There is.
In fact,
which
it just released today.
I shared out to various outlets.
I saw that in the
felt,
Nintendo Voice chat on Facebook.
That I felt who would enjoy it the most.
Yeah.
I know that IGN has talked about Console Wars frequently. Mm-hmm. So I shared it out to Pockets Full of Soup with Jared Petty. He just champions that book. And that group is a really fantastic group. There's also Nintendo Voice Chat, like you mentioned, Podcast Beyond, and Podcast Unlocked. So I kind of just put it out in the ether, and we'll see if we get an extra few looks or listens out of that.
So if you would like to listen to my interview with Blake Harris of Console Wars and his upcoming book, The History of the Future, you can just subscribe to Everything VR and AR podcast and listen to that. It's the most recent episode, and we'll probably throw a link in here in the show notes as well.
Mm-hmm. He is so much of a nerd. I love it.
Yeah, he's fun. He was so fun to talk with.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have talked with him like 2 or 3 hours and not had a problem. And the fun thing is, his wife is from St. Louis.
Oh, really?
From out...
No way.
What was it? Afton, maybe?
Huh.
I can't remember for sure. I'd have to listen back to the raw prior edit where we talked about it before the show. So I said, if you're back in St. Louis anytime soon, let me know. I'd like to take you out and have a couple beers or something and just chat.
He seemed pretty open to the idea, so...
It was pretty cool. Really looking forward to that, and whenever the kind of live-action documentary kind of whatever version movie of Console Wars comes out. I think he's been working on that with Seth Rogen and stuff for a while.
Really?
Yeah. Seth Rogen, I think, wrote the foreword on Console Wars.
Okay.
Yeah. So Blake Harris knows some people. I'm like, that's kind of cool. But anyway, the big event is Neil deGrasse Tyson is in St. Louis tomorrow.
If he's not here already.
I would imagine he'll probably fly in the morning.
Yeah, you know.
He's got things to take care of in New York at the planetarium.
Better not be some crazy snowstorm.
Yeah.
Although it is May, so I think we'll be okay.
I think we're good. Mid-May. I don't think there's as many snowstorms in New York going on right now. Anyway, Brad, myself, Justin, and Brad's wife, Sarah, we all get to go see Neil deGrasse Tyson tomorrow.
It is listening to him. I really could listen to him for just hours. Mm-hmm. He has a lot of information to share. I know right before the show, usually he asks, try to refrain from taking pictures because it's about the experience and just listening more so than it is about getting a selfie with Neil deGrasse Tyson on the stage. I don't know. We really respected that rule. The guy in front of us last year did not. He was taking a picture of every slide, which is like, dude, come on.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to do that. I will probably take one. I'll probably take a couple, but it's not going to be because of the slides or anything like that. I don't imagine. Now, this would be the first time.
We waited till the very end, and my wife snapped one photo, and that's pretty much it. It was just more of a... We did this thing, but I absolutely remembered it because I was paying attention. I didn't have my nose in my phone.
Right. I want to hear what he's going to say. I mean, I've only really heard him on podcasts and things like that, so he's not necessarily talking about a lot of the stuff he'll be talking about tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Which, again, I'm just really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting. Again, I love listening to him talk. It's good stuff. Last but not least, it's time for Brad's beer pick of the week. Have you even had time to have any beer with this new position?
No.
Okay.
But...
It's a dry week.
Well, no, not quite. Good old, not friends, but a good old beer company over in Oregon called Deschutes makes a wonderful pale ale called Mirror Pond. And Deschutes is pretty easy to get across most of the country, being as, well, they're in Oregon, we're here in St. Louis, and you can find them pretty readily as it is. It's kind of your normal pale ale. They use Cascade hops. The Cascade hops give this a tawny-colored ale, whatever that color means. I'm not really 100% for sure. But I would imagine it's more of like that real super copper or maybe even a darker look to it. But I do enjoy Cascade hops, and I'm just a big pale ale person. I really am. If it's amber, I'm drinking it. Mm-hmm. And being as summer's really starting to warm up here in St. Louis, not that I could barely tell you that it was summer because I'm shivering half the day, which I'm okay with.
Here he goes again with that first world problem stuff.
It's... But it is a good brew, and I do recommend it. It has a 3.6. I gave it a 4. Out of the overall, I gave it a 4. 40 IBUs, and it's only 5% ABV, so it's even a little bit lighter than a normal Budweiser, even though that it's probably about 5 shades darker.
Right. Well, it doesn't sound bad. I think most of the stuff that I've had from Deschutes has been pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Right now I'm drinking one of their stouts, the Obsidian Stout from Deschutes. And it is also delicious. But most people don't like stouts in the summer, so...
True. Like, went to a pig roast.
How was that?
That was fun. That was a really good time.
Did you have any beer?
Yes. I stopped at Deerberg's, which is a St. Louis supermarket chain, and usually has a really good selection. And Charlottesville Brewing had their Up All Night coffee stout. I thought about getting that, but then I got the thing, I'm like, it's kind of warm, and I'm going to be outside. The stouts sit kind of heavy. So I grabbed the Schlafly Summer Lager.
Oh, good choice. Great choice. And this year, this is so cool. Schlafly is releasing a special release, labeled release of their Hella Summer Lager that will have the eclipse moon in front of it because in August, there's an eclipse and it's going to hit directly over St. Louis. So we are going to see a full-fledged eclipse as maybe the first and last time that I'm going to take off work if I can.
Oh my gosh.
It's so exciting to me. I love this stuff.
Yeah, I do too. So I ended up having 5 out of the 6 that night, which for me that's a lot. Normally I'm like 1 or 2. I'm like, all right, I'll be good. They just kept going down and down and down. So smooth.
They are. I'm going to definitely pick up either that or the Pale Ale this week, and I've been craving it.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Good stuff. But that does it for this week's episode of The Tech Informist. If there's something that you think that we missed or maybe we spoke incorrectly about, please let us know. And while I'm thinking about it real quick, I'm going to run over to YouTube because there was a really interesting comment on our video, not really a video, but our last episode, which, by the way, in case you didn't know, we do have the Tech Informist is available to listen to on YouTube. We've been doing that for some time now. Okay, good. I mean, just kind of pause that. Listener, Enchanting Finds. How I was mentioning about my dad still stuck on his LG G2, and they said, your father's smart. This person said, I've only had 3 iPhones, and all 3 of them were used in a bargain purchase that I used basically till the upgrades were not supported anymore. So there are some young folks out there that are not always chasing the latest and the greatest shiny toys.
Yeah.
And they said, I didn't listen to the whole show, but wow, the world of technology developing at the speed of light, or what? I'm a new YouTuber mom with an almost 5-year-old who is growing up in the midst of the tech age, and gosh, I am not excited about it at all. In fact, I am for the first time considering going to a flip phone after my current iPhone 5S and only use a phone for actual calling. If I ever get a hold of a better version of a used iPhone that will be a bargain, it will most likely be used for the few apps occasionally. Sadly, seems like progress is not necessarily beneficial and for some can play a very negative role in life. But at the same time, if you use the ever-evolving, overwhelming amount of new inventions responsibly, where it's making you a living but does not encroach on your reality and your family and social life, it sure is amazing to see and hear all the new gadgets. Great show. Liked and subscribed. Have a wonderful day. So, thank you, Enchanting Finds. Really appreciate all the feedback. That was from 2 days ago.
Nice.
So I like seeing that.
Yeah.
See, we love hearing from you, folks. We do.
And that's so interesting to hear her perspective of the tech world that is ever evolving, as she says. And now I know that I could never go back to a flip phone. I would tear my hair out. But for her, that's interesting that there's sort of a resistance to even kind of want to still do it.
Well, if you remember that Nokia phone we talked about a few weeks back, I'd been all over that thing. All over that.
Yeah, you were.
I would be all over that if it came out tonight. Again, it might not be my regular daily driver.
I don't know. You were pretty adamant about it.
There are definitely some time frames and periods I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to use this definitely for like a weekend phone.
I mean, it definitely,
Battery life,
to your
man.
credit, battery life just kind of keep your nose out of the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right, because the more little things you got there to distract you, the more distracted you're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, ooh, there's a little ding. I got to see what that ding was. Sorry, I'll be right back. I got to look at my phone. And yeah, it just can be a problem. So thank you, Enchanting Finds, and thank you anybody else that likes to send us stuff. We would really like to read these things on, quote-unquote, the air. But hey, we can't read everything, and sometimes things are long, and sometimes things are short.
And sometimes they're inappropriate.
Yes.
But that's okay. I'll take all of them.
Exactly. So again, we love your feedback. Send it in. You can either email us, contact@thetechinformers.com, or if you would like to just have the discussion on the Facebook page. I think their Facebook group's there. Can't remember if it's a group or page. I don't really mess with it too much lately. But then again, I like having this little discussion here in the YouTube comment section. Because usually they say,
Twitter.
That's the worst place to go. Stay out of them YouTube comments because it gets dangerous in there. This is good. This is good. I like it. Right
I
there.
welcome the good and bad.
Exactly. Ratings and reviews of the podcast are always appreciated on both Stitcher and iTunes. So if you'd like to do that, we'd also like that too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So again, that does it for this week. We got to go, yo, because it's getting late and we're tired. I'm old. You're not. But
I'm hungry.
you're, well, yeah, you probably haven't had dinner yet, have you?
Nope.
Oh, my goodness.
I had beers at dinner.
Whoops. Well, it depends on who you talk to. All right. Thanks for listening, folks. And until next time, consider yourself informed. Have a great weekend. We're out.
Bye-bye.